Hello everybody, welcome. It's so good to see you guys. Hello, hello, hello. Hi. Let's get the party started. The whole point of today's class was definitely to share tips and tricks, and we just really want to share with you guys what we like to use in terms of creating a makeup that is everlasting, that wears long, that if realistically as a makeup artist, you know, when you get there and they're like, she's gonna jump in the water, and you're like, wait, what? She's gonna jump in the water? I wasn't prepared for that part. And you have to whip out magic things from your kit. So it's really about kind of creating that type of longevity makeup and making it really last.
I think we should just get started,
yeah,
right?
We'll get started. Hi, I'm Gisel Cavillo, Senior National Makeup Artist for MAC Cosmetics. We're actually in Miami, and today it's all about a long-wearing, durable, water-resistant makeup. My lovely model Camilla is going to be jumping in the pool, so I need to be able to create something that is going to be water-resistant, number one, but two, that's going to stay in place. So for the skin, I prepped with Fix Plus. Next, I chose to use the new Studio Stick foundation. Basically put it all over the skin. Next, I chose to use a 24-hour smooth wear concealer, and I just basically popped it in the center of the face. And what you really want to do is take out any redness. So I'm using Paint Pot and Groundwork. And this step is really, really important because you want to really prime the eyelid with whatever shadow or cream that you're going to put on top, because the idea is for it to basically not move. So I'm being quite generous and just sweeping this right across the lids. I also love that it has a tint of color, so it is kind of a warm brown. So instead of creating that degradation of color with eyeshadow, this product is really gonna stick on the eyelids, and again, it's not gonna move. So the biggest thing about this look is I wanted a pop of color, I wanted some dimension, I still wanted to create a beautiful look because this is for a beauty shoot. So the idea is to make sure that that part is blended, because when I do add my color in my MAC acrylic cyan paint, I really want that color to stand out, but I don't want it to get lost in the surrounding color underneath. So that's where Groundwork Paint Pot was really essential. Next, I'm gonna use chromographic pencil in high definition cyan. That for me, and this is pretty much a sky blue. The color is so rich and beautiful, kind of speaks for itself. And it's really, really creamy. So I think instead of adding too much boldness underneath, I just wanted the pop to be in the waterline. So I chose to use MAC PRO acrylic paints. And these are one of the most beautiful mediums that you can use as an artist. If you mix the color, you can either custom make your own using the primary colors, or this color kind of speaks for itself. This one is Marine Ultra. And I am just dipping my brush, and it works similar to the way if you've ever worked on a canvas and you had acrylic paints and it has that kind of patent paint finish, it'll work the same way. The color is really, really rich, so you can just pat it on close for me. And I'm gonna keep the concentration of color right on the eyelid. And as I go into the socket or the crease, I'm just gonna pat it in so that it doesn't look like, I don't want it to be a hard line. I'll blend it in after, but I will keep the concentration of color right on the lid. And as the product dries, I'll blend off that hard line. What you don't want to do though is you don't want the product to be too much on the brush, on the blending part, that way you don't get any hard lines on the crease. I'm going to add a little bit more of the chromographic pencil in high definition cyan right underneath the lower lash line. Now the pencil is a creamy pencil, so it's really easy to blend it, and the color itself is quite rich. Next, I'm gonna add Fascinating Eye Kohl just in the inner corner of the eyes, and I'm gonna add white because I really wanna pop that yellow that I'm gonna put on top. Look up for me. So everything, I think both because it's being shot underwater and we're creating something that has to be kind of bigger, it's important that the colors look extremely vibrant. So something like white will always make everything almost give a neon quality to it, or it'll just make the color look really nice and intense. We're gonna use this color called Dark Room from the MAC Art Library palette, right in the inner corner of the eyes, and I just really want it to pop. So one of my favorite products for lips that we've created is called Retro Matte Liquid Lipstick. This color is called Quite the Standout. So this color is kind of a red-orange, and it's really easy to get a really easy lip on because of the fact that it's a liquid. It's really easy to draw the shape and get that perfect edge. So on top of the Retro Matte Liquid Lipstick in quite the standout, I am adding Lip Mix in the color Orange. And the reason is because I want just more color. The finish is gonna be quite matte. And if I wanted to add a gloss, you could, just layering the products on top. Because of the fact that I put the Retro Matte Liquid Lipstick underneath, it's gonna hold anything that I do on top. And as you can see there, honestly, there's no need to go in even with the lip liner because the color itself is quite bold and perfect. The look is almost done. All I wanna do is really make sure that underneath the eyes and the center of the face, it's really perfect. So I'm using Studio Finish Concealer, and I chose to use this formula and mix it with the previous one because of the fact that this is a cream. It's not only not gonna move, but it's also gonna give me maximum coverage. And I actually like that there's a bit of shine left on the skin. So I'm playing with both the lighter shades and her skin tones. Just hitting this part here adds almost that glow on the skin. So to finish the look, I'm gonna use this Hyper Real Glow palette in Shimmy Peach. And because it has these lovely gold tones, turn that way for me, I just wanna pop that on the cheekbone and give that extra highlight. And also do a little bit of the collarbone. And this gives you that realistic glow on the skin. So this is the look. I think we have highlighted her beautiful face. All of the features stand out. There's a lot of impact and color. And I know that I can count on this look, and the placement is gonna live long throughout the water, throughout the heat, and everything's gonna stay in place.
Hi, my name is Judy Irizarry. I'm a makeup artist based in Miami, Florida, and the one thing that I find that you definitely need here is waterproof makeup. So on my model, Carl, I want to show you 3 quick steps on how to create a natural polished look for a man. We're going to prep the skin with a little bit of sunscreen, and I really do not apply a thick layer. You want to make sure that you're using a product that is also water resistant and that's going to stay on. Lips are very important. You want to use a lip balm, just a little bit on there. And then what I do is I'll probably take a little sponge and just press it into the lips so that they don't look too shiny, but that he has enough moisture on there. Now it's time for the second part, perfecting the skin. There is a product that I like to use on the skin called Face and Body. And it's really sheer and lightweight. So it kind of acts like a tinted moisturizer. And it's very sheer, it's wonderful to work with. You'll find that it really looks natural. One of my favorite products to use on men is the Full Coverage Palette. I usually take a nice little flat, firm brush, and I'll start right underneath the eyes. Look up. That's usually where a lot of guys will need a little bit of coverage just to make sure that it's all one color and even. And I like to do a little bit of the product on the corners of the eye, because usually that area is a little red. And just blot all of that in. And around the nose. The next step that I'm going to do is check the eyebrows and check the beard, so you want to make sure that everything blends in perfectly. First thing we're going to do is work on the eyebrows, and you want to make sure that they're nice and groomed. And I like to use the waterproof brow set, and I mix a lot of these. Actually, I'm going to mix 2 colors on Carl today to get the perfect tone that I need. And this is really simple. With an angled brush, I'll take a little bit, and wherever you feel like he needs a little bit of filling in, that's where you want to apply it. Now, you don't want to do too much, so that's why I like this product instead of using an eyeshadow or anything else, because it's really sheer and it gives you the illusion that nothing is on there. And then to finish the brow, I will take the same brow set, but I like to take a little bit of the product off of the brush and brush the hair in place. If, like Carl, you have a little bit of a stubble, you might have areas that are patchy that you might need to fill in a little bit. I take a little bit of the brow set, making sure that I don't have too much on my brush, then just filling in the little areas that I need to. And then the last step is mattifying the skin. One of my favorite powders that I've used for years is blot powder. And I use a brush to really buff it into the skin, and I go all over. I really get into this area as well. Make sure you get the neckline. Then the last thing I do to really mattify the skin is I'll take a puff with blot powder, and I really press it into like the T-zone area where he is going to be a little bit more shiny, and on the forehead. I also make sure I hit the eyelids so that they don't look shiny. My lips are looking a little too shiny for my taste, so I'm gonna take a little bit of blot powder and just lightly dust a coat on there. And there you have it, a quick natural look for a man. Now I'm gonna show you a beauty look on Brianna that's waterproof and that'll stay on all day. One of my favorite foundations is Face and Body, and I'm going to use a soft brush and just buff it into her skin. The reason why I'm using Face and Body is because it gives a very soft finish and it's quite sheer, so it's not gonna look too made up. And then another foundation that is my favorite, I use this a lot because it's waterproof, it's the PRO Longwear foundation. I'm actually mixing two different colors, and I like to highlight with PRO Longwear. So I'm just gonna add a little bit underneath there. PRO Longwear is beautiful, it does have a full coverage. She doesn't really need a full coverage, so that's why I'm just doing the fuller coverage just in the center portion of the face. And I'm just pressing the product in. Kind of the same concept as if you were contouring or highlighting. Before I set her foundation with anything else, I am gonna contour her with full coverage foundation as well. I'm just gonna take the darker tone here, and I go right into the socket where I need to place the color. It starts to look like a really natural contour instead of something that's too heavy. And then I take a little bit onto the hairline, and then chisel the jawbone. So now to set everything in place, I love blot powder. I use blot powder on everybody. It does not change the color of the makeup, which is very important. I find that a lot of powders do that. And I like keeping a press because I can make it into a loose with a brush. And it's easier to carry as a makeup artist in my kit. And underneath the eyes, I do like to also set a little bit of powder with a soft brush. I don't like to cake too much powder underneath the eyes, then it starts to look too heavy. For her blush, I'm going to be using a lipstick, and a little bit of product is all you need. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. I want Brianna to just have a little bit more dimension. I love using Studio Fix foundation for that, and I'm gonna take that same angled brush and just chisel her cheekbones to make them pop a little bit more. You might want to take a little bit on the sides of the nose, and this is really natural. I'm not going too heavy with the contour. So the next step is I start working on the eyebrows. So I love mixing the brow sets to get the perfect color. Sometimes I find you might need a little bit of a lighter shade in one area or a deeper tone in a different area. So for Brianna, I'm going to mix these two different browns just to get the right shade. And with an angled brush, I'm just gonna mix the two colors together. I use very soft strokes, just sort of pull the color into the brow and just fill in where she needs it. Just brush these brows in place. So I'm going to be using this beautiful warm color on her eye today. So with a flat, firm brush, just use it all over the lid. The wonderful thing about this particular texture is that it is creamy, but it doesn't stay too slick, which is nice. And then just take the same cream color from the PRO palette and place right underneath. Another product that I love is a cream color base called Hush. And this is really simple. You don't even have to use a brush. You can use your fingertips. But I take a little bit of this color and just add a little bit onto the brow bone. It has a gorgeous slight sheen, and it just creates a beautiful highlight. And then I'll take a little bit of the product and just put it right onto the cheekbone area, so it creates a beautiful glow onto the skin. Now I'm gonna go in with a little bit of a matte powder product onto her eyes. So I'm gonna take a dark, sort of like a rich brown, and a very soft pointed brush, and I'm gonna sweep that into the corners of the eye. It sets it, it makes it waterproof, and it's gonna stay on all day. Another color that I love called Brown Script. I use this color a lot. I'm going to use a powder pigments, I mix these with lip glosses and all kinds of things, but I'm going to be using this on her eyelid. This is a color called Copper Sparkle. You could even press it with your fingertip and swipe a little bit underneath the eyes and blend it into the smoky part. I love these art library palettes. They're fantastic. This particular one here is called Flamboyant. I'm going to take the same dark, rich chocolate and start adding the darker tones onto the corner. And I'll take a little bit of this brown script, which is kind of in the same family as what I'm using. And we're gonna add that onto the other color. So we're layering a lot of different tones together and just blending everything in to create that beautiful, bronzy, warm, smoky eye. I'm gonna sweep a little bit underneath and blending it into the smoky color. Now, to give the eyes much more dimension and make it smokier, I'm going to be using the Dare Black Dual Eyeliner. So I really go in there and just make it really rich. I also take like a little bit onto my angled brush and sweep some right underneath the lash line just to make it even smokier and smudgier. It doesn't have to be so perfect. Then I'll take the carbon eyeshadow, turn towards me, and layer that on top of the liner and blend it into the eyeshadow and bring it out. I'm gonna take a little bit more of that Copper Sparkle and just add more glam to the eyelid. So I'm gonna go back into that Hush cream color base, which I really love. I'm gonna take a soft brush and I'm going to highlight the inner portion of the eye. And then going back into my palette, I'll take that light shimmer and set a little bit of the powder onto that cream color base. Brianna has amazing lashes, so we're just going to use Up For Anything mascara. And this particular mascara is not going to come off, like it's gonna stay on all night. You can take the point of the mascara and just really go in there. Be careful because it's really rich. And also the bristles on this mascara are nice and firm, so it helps to sort of pull the lashes into place and separate them. I like to lift the lid just a little bit and really wiggle the wand into the lashes. This eyeliner is fantastic, or the liquid portion of it, to sort of brush on top of the lashes, like on the lash line. Sometimes a little bit of the pigment can get onto the lashes, and this really helps me to make the lashes nice and rich and black and take away some of the powder that's fallen on there. So to finish off the look, we're gonna keep the lips very soft and bronzy just to kind of go with the entire look. I'm going to be mixing two different lip pencils. The first pencil that I'm going to apply is called Cork, a nice nude brown. And we're just gonna lightly line the lips and shade in the corners a little bit. It just creates the appearance that the lips are a little bit more puckery. And the reason why I'm mixing two is because I wanna give her lips a little bit of color, but not so much. So this is just gonna give a little bit of that, it's gonna pull a little bit of that bronzy tone into place. So once I mix those two different pencils together, I'm just gonna blend it into the lip, almost like a little stain. Matte lipsticks have been really popular, but I am really feeling gloss right now, and I love this palette. 6 editorial oranges, and these two shades are fantastic for this look. They look actually beautiful on every skin tone. I'm actually gonna mix both of these together, and it's gonna look similar to the pigment on her eyes. So it's a beautiful, warm, creamy, rich texture. And there you have it, a perfect waterproof beauty makeup that is long wearing, long lasting, waterproof, and perfect for the Miami heat.